In this video, I want to go over 5 harmonica practice hacks that you should really know. Let's go and get started with number 1. When we're talking about harmonica practice, one thing that we're really aiming for is consistency. If you want to be a harmonica player, you have to be playing harmonica, right? And it's easy to skip days or even skip weeks and months and just kind of get out of the habit of it. And so one thing that you can do that will encourage you to play more often is to set up your environment so harmonicas are always accessible. So what do I mean by that? Well, I think it's a good idea to either do one of two things or both, which is either get into the habit of carrying a harmonica with you all the time, or get into a situation where you have harmonicas in a whole bunch of different rooms of your house. So you're always triggered to think, oh, maybe I should go and pick up my harmonica and play. Now, this is something I really learned when I was coming up as a guitarist. I found that if my guitar was in its case zipped up, like in my closet or something like that, I probably wouldn't play that often. But if I had a guitar on a stand, like next to a couch that I would sit on very often, I'd just pick up my guitar and I'd start playing. I had to make it easy because if I had to go through all those steps, even though they don't sound like very much, of getting my guitar out of its case, unzipping it, tuning it up, and getting to play, if I had to go through all those steps every single time, I just wouldn't play as much. And it's the same thing with harmonica. Now, the great thing is that this instrument is tiny. So you could just get one of those little zipper cases, stick it in your pocket, and if you get used to carrying one around, then awesome. It's very easy to just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go play harmonica. You have it with your wallet and your keys, and you just are reminded that you're a harmonica player every day. Go pick up your harmonica and play some music. Alternatively, if you have your harmonicas like laid out where you spend your time, like as I said before with the guitar example, let's say you're just in your couch in your living room, keep one on like a little end table or something. So when you see it, you think like, oh, maybe I should go and play harmonica. And just those few cues will lead you to practicing more, which makes a big difference. Along the lines of setting up your environment so you have more success when you're playing, I suggest you get one of these, a portable Bluetooth speaker. Now, we are melody instrumentalists. We should be spending our time playing over music. That's like what you do as a harmonica player. And I suggest you play over backing tracks, maybe songs on Spotify. You get the idea. Now, when you're doing this, you really want volume. I can't express how much that having enough volume really changes the experience of what you feel when you're playing. Like I was playing a gig yesterday. It was at some big event at our local zoo. Okay, it is what it is. But there was like a lot of people, a couple thousand people like walking by, and when we played in the beginning, we were at like kind of a low volume, and it was like, it feels okay. And then eventually, as the gig goes on, we're just turning that master up. By the end, it feels phenomenal for us, and when we feel good, we're getting more into it. And it's the same when you're just playing at home or out and about. So here's why I recommend one of these things. When you want to play, it's as simple as turning the speaker on. You just press the button. Most of these will automatically like connect to your phone. And then if I want to just play like right now, just press play on my phone. I'm on YouTube here. I got a backing track loaded up. And here we go. I got like a real, song going. And for me, just being able to do what I just did there is such an important thing. And so if you haven't experimented with this, I highly, highly suggest you get a Bluetooth speaker. This one is the Marshall Willen. I really recommend the JBL line as well. So go and check that out. And I think if you pick one up, you'll be really happy that you did. The next suggestion I have for you is to choose one harmonica that you really like and make that your practice harmonica. If you're anything like me, you like buying all the instruments. I enjoy it. I like getting all the different keys and trying all the different models and alternate tunings, and there's a lot that you could potentially focus on. But sometimes having all these options takes away from just your ability to pick up your harmonica and play and practice, right? So one thing that I suggest all my students is just focus on getting one harmonica that you really like. Maybe it's in a key that is matching up with some of your learning materials, or it's just, you tried a bunch of harmonicas, you're like, that's the one. I really like the let's say the Marine Band Deluxe, and you just get one of those in the key that you want to play on, and that's your main practice harmonica. That's what you're going to use the vast majority of the time, because you really only need one to practice. You need a whole bunch more if you want to perform and if you want to have that flexibility, but really you only need one to practice on. And once you've gotten that one harmonica that's the best fit for you, I highly suggest that you take the cover plates off and you do whatever adjustments are necessary to make sure that the harmonica is playing well, that you're able to bend very easily, and that you're able to overblow if that's something that you are working on. Now, I'm not going to go into a full guide on how to do this, but I will link one at the end, and I highly suggest you go through this process, at least for that main harmonica that you're going to decide to practice on most of the time. Since we're talking about harmonica practice, I just want to take a quick second to say that one of the things that I think that you should focus on most is practicing your scales. It really gives you the mechanical ability so that you can improvise easily. And if you want to get started with that, go check out my free scale cheat sheet. It gives you all the notes so you can get started with scale practice right away. You'll find the link down below in the description. And if this video is helping you, give me a like if you would. It really helps this video spread to more people. The next tip I have for you is to record your harmonica playing often so you get feedback on your playing and you apply a little bit of positive stress, so you tighten up your playing just a little bit and you make that recording process as easy as humanly possible, so you could just press record and be off to the races. Now, to understand this, here's what my setup is like and why I think recording is valuable. So first of all, on the valuable side, why is this actually worth your time? Well, when you play and you're recording yourself, you can actually hear what's really happening, so you can make informed decisions about what you need to work on with your playing. And just the act of pressing record, like I am on this camera right now, it kind of focuses you in a way that I think is incredibly valuable, especially if you're trying to, let's say, put a song together or you're trying to improvise over a track and get your best version possible. Without recording, it's just not that easy to apply this kind of positive stress so you actually take it seriously. You need to have some sort of a risk on the line by recording yourself. And I think what a lot of people think of recording themselves, they're like, oh, I'm just going to go put my phone over here and I'm going to lean it against this book. And it's just like the thing with having your harmonica is easily accessible that we talked about earlier. The more steps you have to go through to engage with this experience, the less likely you are to actually do it. Here's what my setup is like. So I do my recording on a computer and I just record audio so I don't have to worry about what I'm personally looking like. And then when I make a YouTube video where I'm playing, yeah, of course, I'll get the video camera and the whole thing. But this is what my setup looks like. So I have a Mac and I'm running a program called a digital audio workstation. The one that I use mainly is Reaper these days, but when I do more guitar-based stuff, I use Ableton. And so I have Reaper set up and I have an audio interface. So I plug in my audio interface into my laptop and then it's connected. That's all I got to do. I have everything like a permanent setup where I have a mic set up to it. I use a Sennheiser E835, plugs into my audio interface. So I just really go to where I hang out. I pull my mic down and I press record. And that's all I got to do. And I've even done some post-processing stuff like compression and reverb and equalization. I've done that based on my previous recordings and I have that saved as a preset. So I don't even have to do anything. And once I've just played a little bit, it sounds beautiful. And it's so easy. I literally just open my computer, open the program, press record, and then I'm recording. And it's not this complicated process. So if you're used to setting your phone up at the right angle and then you do the whole thing and you're not even happy with the sound at the end and you don't even know if the experience was worth it, I highly suggest that you consider looking into getting an audio interface, a XLR microphone, generally a vocal-based mic, and just a cord to connect it all. You plug it into your computer and you hook it up to a digital audio workstation. It sounds like a lot. It's really not that complicated. If you want to learn more on this, let me know and maybe I'll make a video in the future. The final tip that I'd like to share for today is to have some sort of a setup so you can slow down audio that you're studying from. Okay. Now, I suggest you spend a lot of your time improvising and, doing things where you don't need to rely on external audio. But if you are going to do that, if you are going to learn riffs and you're going to study songs and do all of that kind of stuff, it's a superpower to be able to take that piece of audio and slow it down. Now, there's some really simple ways to do this. Let's say you're learning on YouTube. All you need to do is click the settings button, go to playback speed, and then slow it down to either one of the defined points, or you can click custom and you can type in something very particular. Like, let's say you want to put it at 70%. You just type in 0.7, you press enter, your video is slowed down. If you want to even loop that, you can check out a website called looptube.io. And on this website, it's the same thing. You have all that playback control, speed control that I just mentioned, but you can like isolate a little part of the video and you can play that over and over. If you have like an actual piece of audio that you can download, like a full song or some playing examples from a book or something like that, you can load it up into a transcription program. I really like using AnyTune. And if you want to learn something, you're just going to save yourself so much time and hear all these details that you won't hear otherwise if you're able to slow it down. So like all the other tips today, if you kind of set up your environment and your tools so you're just able to do this and it's easy and you know the process, you're going to have a lot more success when it comes to learning something kind of difficult and getting that part of your harmonica practice down. That's all for today. I hope that this was helpful. If you want to learn how to set up your harmonicas like I talked about earlier, watch this video up here, and I'll see you again next week. Peace.